Testing sound, 1, 2, 3. Welcome everybody then to the F1 Brontest 24 for round 6, and we're here at the Kyoto Driving Park Yamagachi circuit configuration, and it's time to finish up qualifying at the moment. Kyoto has the fastest lap right now on a 1:14.268. He's changed the message on the back of his Fleet branding car rear wing. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I'm pretty sure what Zad Soldat means though, and he has changed his livery to the Kawasaki racing team in association with Durex, it would seem. And then Racecak still with the Brokaga unchanged livery scheme here in 3rd position at the moment. Zad Soldat though 2 seconds away from Patuti's time and not giving a great deal of effort in this final minute here of qualifying. Certainly not trying to improve his time at all. So somewhat of a surprise for me. 2 seconds off the pace of Kyoto in qualifying, as I say. But as we know here at the F1 Brontest, the race is a very different story. And it's only really Kyoto still circulating here. He's got the 3-pointed star on the back of his car, just in slightly embossed, and you can just see it glinting in the sun in the Japanese district of Kyoto here today. And you can see, of course, powered by Mercedes-Benz in his Super Formula Honda, somewhat unusually. But we're getting ready for our race. A little update for you on the back of last week's race. The steward inquiry was broadcast and is available on this channel. And what you can see is that the major coming together of the two championship contenders at the time was deemed to have no further action required. But Zad Soldat, who finished at the tail end of the 4 last week, received a 5-second penalty for an illegal overtake, but it didn't actually affect the overall results of the race. Kyoto then fastest from Zad Soldat and Racecak, and it's time to get underway. In just a few seconds time we will have ourselves a 31 lap race. Looks like fuel is being used at least in qualifying. The fuel was not set at full on one of the cars that I just saw, so we're going to get underway for our race. Let's try and organise the screen in time, shall we? At least let's get underway. We've got Racecak in 3rd, Zad Soldat alongside on the front row with Kyoto as the start lights raised, the engine note raises with it, and it's time for 31 laps. It's drop the clutch and go, go, go. Zad Soldat, uncharacteristic, very slow at getaway though, and you saw Racecak doing some practice starts after his laps had been completed, but Kyoto screaming into the lead. Racecak going the high line around the first long left-hand corner, and now it's into the snaking S section here in the first sector. And Kyoto already away, building the gap, and Racecak with his mirrors full of Zad Soldat. Zad Soldat's going to have a go down the inside there, but doesn't quite make it through. Big on throttle wheel spin coming out of the back of Racecak's rear tyres. as he runs through, and we're already Racecack just hopping over the curb slightly, catching himself out in over the apex, and it didn't quite work out for him. So Zad Soldat into the lead of the race now, as Kyoto DPY is missing the apex but running the high line, and all three cars come together very, very closely as Zad Soldat is now running around the outside. This will become the inside if he can hang on to the slow left-hander, and he runs off circuit, gets in the way of Racecack, and now Zad Soldat with a job to do now to finish out and manage to catch up to the rest of the grid. But Racecack, the gap suddenly opens out after that incident, and Kyoto DPY looking very happy about the situation with the fastest lap for the leader, of course, but he is now 1.4 seconds in the lead with one lap down, and running around the outside on the high grip tarmac. Runoff goes Racecack, just a slight misjudgment there, and it's already looking like Kyoto DPY is converting this pole position pace into something that the race will be able to he'll be able to maintain the gap and the speed advantage that he had in qualifying. And let's go and see how hard Kyoto DPY is pushing on board. Should be able to now start dialing back the effort to try and make sure that he gets himself into a good position. Let's check out the tyre situation as well. So it is medium tyres typically here for Racecack, and whoa, Kyoto DPY also choosing the mediums, but actually Zad Soldat at the back of the grid at the moment on the soft tyres. He's got damage on the car right now, temporary damage at least, as Racecack is hot in pursuit of Kyoto DPY. We do down the inside, a beautiful move into the last corner of the racetrack, and Racecack takes the lead at the end of lap 2, and he goes in towards to start lap 3, and he's already built up a half-second lead. What happened to Kyoto DPY there? Excuse me. I was just going to explain that the catching boost is on weak for the drivers, so we have decided to eliminate the fastest lap reward because of the boost given to following drivers, but Kyoto DPY pulls fully alongside. That's a nice place to position the car, and already straight up into the lead once again, just after the first sector is complete on that lap. So he didn't want to let that one go for very long. Little misjudgment perhaps going into the Piff-Paff chicane, but he manages to hold on because Racecack was not particularly strong through that sector in the last couple of laps either, and I hasten to suggest perhaps it was also through qualifying as well. But Racecack moving around quite a lot on the grid. Excuse me, some sore throat. Let me take a quick drink and I'll try and recover. My apologies for that. I'm going to try and keep my voice well working today. And Kyoto DPY taking the lead, keeping a half-second gap out here, and Racecack in second position, managing to start to get into something of a rhythm now as well. Let's check out what's happening with Zad Soldat though, because on the soft tyres I would expect his pace to be a little bit better than this. 1:13.1 that lap, as I say, some 13 seconds faster than he managed in laps 1 and 2, thanks to this so-called weak boost, which is the minimum on boost that you can have, just to make sure that we get our field brought together here. And now the gap down to 2.4 seconds. Hopefully that boost will reduce somewhat, and you can see them there on the wide angle camera angle there through into the first of the two hairpins. We have a slightly quicker chicane in the third sector, and Racecack off the circuit. Zad Soldat will easily take the lead thanks to that one, and Racecack picks up a penalty. It is so difficult to avoid the penalty when you're trying to recover the car using the throttle, which you obviously have to do, and the game punishing Racecack once again, and there he is off throttle down the start-finish straight. That is a huge in-game penalty for him, but he will get the benefit of the rubber banding boost effect. I see also that Zad Soldat is sponsored today by Heineken. Hopefully it's Heineken Zero. But he also then lights up one of the rear tyres on throttle oversteer. And now Zad Soldat, I think, starting to get a little bit of a rhythm. Kyoto DPY kicking up the sparks there across the bumps. I want to pay a little bit of attention to finding the smoothest run down through the track. This is that piff-paff chicane, a left-right-left situation. A nice rhythm to this circuit. Now we're going into the, I think that said 35R. That's the radius of the corner. As many of the Japanese circuits have their corners named. Another penalty there. That's exactly what just happened to Racecack on the previous lap. It is so easy to get that second chicane wrong. Zad Soldat then will pick up that off-throttle penalty. Looks like Racecack's got one as well, unfortunately. I wonder if he's made exactly the same mistake once again. So at least the two in second and third positions will have the same issue as each other. But Kyoto DPY will be able to just stretch away. 3.5 seconds his lead now on lap 6. 1/5 distance just about covered. As you can see the fuel starting to burn off here on the cars. So they may need to start dialing back the fuel usage, because we're approaching 1/4 tank used, and we're only 1/5 of the distance through the race. We shall see if that becomes an issue later on. They can adjust some settings, but of course they can lift and coast into the after the long straights, and you can see what an effect going off throttle actually has to the deceleration of the cars. Just when we see the penalties, and you can see already Zad Soldat with his pace has managed to catch Kyoto DPY very quickly after that penalty. So Zad Soldat in his all-new colour scheme here, I'm not quite sure, well it's certainly racing for the Kawasaki team, and he has caught right up to half a second, just less than half a second now, against Kyoto DPY. A beautiful forest circuit here at Kyoto Driving Park, and again strange tyre smoke coming out of the back of Zad Soldat's car on throttle. It's an issue with the differential there, and that's not going to help the tyre wear either. Lap 7, it's Kyoto DPY leading by half a second to Zad Soldat, and then a 4.3 second gap back to Racecack, who now gets the benefit, of course, of that little bit of boost. The undulations of the racetrack, very, very obvious with these low down camera angles. That's what I absolutely love about sim racing, is you just get these fantastically engaging camera angles that you just don't get in track racing. You can put a camera absolutely anywhere you want without having to wire it in or run complicated wireless technologies across the race circuit. Zad Soldat then in second position. Surely he's close enough with the benefit of the realistic slipstream to have a go. This is where his rear tyre let go earlier on, but Kyoto DPY off the circuit for a second, managed to cope with that one without any penalty coming onto the car. A little bit of back and forth between the two as Kyoto DPY takes the inside line, coming into the far west of the circuit, the widest radius corner. Doesn't quite run 180 degrees, maybe about 160, before then heading down the long downhill into the piff paff. Back over the crest once again, heading towards the hairpin. And when is Zad Soldat thinking it would be a good opportunity to make an overtake? Well, under acceleration out of the first chicane is a pretty good place, but he's done this before and he's run off the circuit. He decelerates beautifully down to the apex this time, and well, the sentiment on the back of his rear wing will certainly be appropriate at this point. He manages to take the lead then at the end of lap 8, and now he can start to really build the speed that he's got on those soft tyres. But take a look at that front left tyre. Kyoto DPY straight back down the inside into turn 1. Beautiful re-overtake there, and he is dominating the laps led and distance led, certainly not happy to relinquish the lead, and I thought Zad Soldat would now start to be able to build that lead that he needs very badly on the soft tyres. There you can see lap 9 of 31, over 1/4 tank used, and surely those soft tyres, particularly the front left tyre, is going to be very problematic for Zad Soldat to hold on through when it's really critical, and that is through those two chicanes when you really need to be able to rely on that front right corner of the car. I don't quite know how he's managed to destroy it to quite such an extent. We'll check out the other cars later when they use the alternate compound that is required, of course. Zad Soldat with a small tag in the rear of Kyoto DPY, at least from that camera angle, and Zad Soldat certainly aggressively overtakes. Racecack manages to take advantage as well, and into the pits as expected comes Zad Soldat, and it does make you question somehow quite what the point was of being so aggressive on that particular overtake when you're on the way into the pits anyway. Didn't gain a huge amount of time on the cars around you. They're on different compounds. You're not racing particularly at the moment. Oh, talk about racing. That was beautiful wheel-to-wheel work from both drivers, and that is fantastic stuff between our two leaders at the moment, Kyoto DPY and Racecack, racing for Fleet Branding and the Brocarga teams. Tremendous cooperation between the two of them. Really, really brilliant stuff. Racecack takes the lead again then, heading down into the first chicane. Fantastic. Respectful racing between the two here. Kyoto DPY not quite able to pounce back just yet. And again though, that front right is the heavily loaded tyre on Racecack. Racecack's car. Kyoto DPY has been slightly better at conserving, but then he's been in the lead and hasn't had to be battling too much, going offline and stressing the tyres too much. But now he does need to try and use what little advantage he has here on the tyre wear rate. This is Zad Soldat then. Another, well, a 3-second penalty on that lap. He has definitely racked up the penalties there. Whether that's a single incident or multiple, difficult to say. Kyoto DPY in second position as the cars spark through the compression in the S's at the north side of the circuit. Going to take the outside here. There is room, but Racecack, in no uncertain terms, manages to take the classic racing line of the early apex and wide exit and just holds on. So this is the longest anyone has been in the lead, apart from Kyoto DPY, and it looks like straight away, as soon as I say it, Kyoto DPY straight back on the aggressive overtake, and he's back into the lead then. 0.6 of a second, his current lead, and his tyres were in slightly better condition. The fuel usage is identical. No one has been lifting and coasting at this stage here. And of course no one has used the overtake button either, as far as I can see. No, nobody has used that. So that's a pit stop from Kyoto DPY, and his tyres were less damaged than Racecack's. And with more than half of the race to go, it's not a great time to change tyre onto the soft tyres, and Racecack off track again. That is absolutely awful for his bid here to try and keep the speed high, keep the lap times running relative to Kyoto DPY when they've got that pit stop offset. And Zad Soldat sneaks around the outside there. He's now on the medium tyres. He's got a job to make these last, and I think we are seeing a very, very high degradation race here at the moment, higher than we are used to. I don't know if any settings have changed here, but certainly the tyres are not lasting the way they would want to. I don't know if Kyoto DPY has changed tactic. Now he's gone medium to soft, so it looks like this could end up being a 2-stop race here for these drivers, as Racecack picks up another penalty, and it's 1.5 seconds. He was also slow through the hairpin. Zad Soldat spinning, and he's had a little bit of a taste of his own medicine there, going off track after being nerfed from behind. He won't take kindly to that one, I don't imagine. And he's snaking around on cold tyres as well. still unable to get a huge amount of grip on those rear tyres. He streaks past Racecat with the penalty, and Kyoto DPY catching this group already here. Car glinting in the sun. It's a beautiful livery. I think it's about time for a livery update though on the Fleet Brandon car. It's been the same for a couple of races, as Racecat now in second place, but struggling with that front right tyre, and it's going to hurt around this corner. It's going to hurt around the profile on the east side circuit, turn 1. It's going to hurt everywhere, quite frankly, as he is already dropping down into the clutches of Solda's lead to 1.1 seconds at Kyoto DPY. So as we near the halfway point of the race, which will come halfway around lap 15, the cars are getting close to halfway on their fuel usage on their tanks. This is perfectly balanced. We do want a little bit of fuel saving activity, I think. Oh, Racecat, that's that rear tyres letting go now. Is he headed into the pits? He's not. So Kyoto DPY draws alongside Racecat, and it alternates between the two of them as they head through the mini sectors. On Racecat ahead, but surely Kyoto DPY with the better line through the corner. How did Racecat hold on to that one? Tremendous stuff, and Kyoto DPY struggling to find a way through. Here we go then, down into the right-hander. He's got the tighter inside line as Racecat tries to close the door. They make a little bit of contact. I think no harm, no foul from that perspective. And Kyoto DPY just not wanting to abuse his brakes too much and the tyres. Is he just being cognizant here of trying to stretch these soft tyres as long as possible? He's not confident enough on the brakes though to challenge Racecat, who is on far, far inferior tyres at this stage. Both the top two struggling out of the slowest corner, the hairpin, on that occasion. So high deg, but also low grip, it seems, this racetrack today. 4 meter per second southerly wind is not going to affect the cars too much unless it's gusting too strongly. Racecat does not pit again either, and it's lap 15 now. This should be Kyoto DPY secure in second position. Yes, a nice smooth overtake that time. A lot of frantic activity on board with Racecat as Zad Soldat is slow out of one of the S's, and that brings Kyoto DPY back into the lead of the race around the outside. Beautifully done from him on the soft tyres, of course, right now. So with a small pace advantage, but you can't really use it with the boost on, with the tail rudder boost on, and that was clumsy from Racecat, and that pushes Zad Soldat off circuit. He's managed to avoid a penalty for that one, but so has Racecat for that contact, and he's just a very, very active on the racetrack. Quite a put a lot of steering efforts and inputs in, does Racecat, mid-corner and on exits and entries, and I think at that point just losing control slightly around this circuit, just belaying a little bit of a lack of experience perhaps with this race circuit. Doesn't quite know how to go, and I think he has decided to allow Zad Soldat through before his pit stop. That's very sporting of him. So receiving an instruction possibly from the team that that was not a strongly advised overtake. So now we have open gaps on the circuit. Racecat trying to get those medium tyres to half distance. I think he's still going to struggle to get the soft tyres to the flag. But then you can see Kyoto DPY has started to ease up on the fuel use, and he has more fuel than anybody else. We're just past the halfway point. Zad Soldat absolutely on target with his fuel use. He may need just the last couple of laps to be aware of his fuel use, but it depends on his strategy as well. Of course, he started on the soft tyres. We'll try and get these medium tyres to a finish, as Kyoto DPY on the softs himself is tiptoeing around on the right-hand side of the car, just trying to make sure that those tyres give him the best overall lap times and race time, but I do expect that this is a 2-stop race. Of course, running the soft tyres at the end of the race maximises your chance at having the best speed at the end of the race, as the car is lighter, not carrying all the fuel that it did have, so the stresses and strains on the tyre are better, but it's still going to be a big ask here to try and finish this one. There goes Kyoto DPY, still in the lead. Oh, off the circuit goes Zad Solda in pursuit of Kyoto DPY, picks up a penalty again, and that's a very common place to come off the circuit. Big difference though back to Racecack at the moment, 16.4 seconds after his pit stop and his slowdown to allow Zad Solda back past, and there is 1.5 seconds on the car. It will be paid shortly. Down the start-finish straight, slightly unusually here for Gran Turismo to put the penalty slow zone. It's Kyoto DPY in the lead then, as he has been for most of the race, from Zad Solda and Racecack, who's bringing that gap down bit by bit now on this lap. Gap opening out at the front, of course, thanks to that penalty from Zad Solda and Racecack now 13.4 seconds. Surely the next sector that will drop significantly down to 11.1 seconds. Just comparing then the lap times at the moment, 14.8 for Kyoto DPY, who will receive no boost at the moment. Zad Solda again off the circuit, just pushing too hard on corner exits. He set a 111.9 on the previous lap to this one, and then you see a 111.0 for Racecack lap as well, as he goes clattering over the apex. Zad Solda back then to try and take that lead once again. Let's join him on board. So we use the apex cam. Drivers, this is quite close to what they'll be seeing if they're using the PSVR2, and able to use the mirrors well. 13.4 that time round. The curb unsettling the car, you could visibly see how the car just lost grip at the apex, and through the long sweepers as we stare down towards the apex of each corner. DPY looking pretty good at the moment. Remember, he's on the soft tyres, and Zad Solda absolutely scorching through these mediums. He has been off circuit to the right hand of the car on a couple of occasions, and that is obviously going to have its effect on the tyre usage. Let's see how he runs through the tight apex here and through the hairpin. The car just not giving him the grip he needs from the right hand side of the car. Again, this one a really critical corner. This time managing to adjust his driving style and angles, apex speed, to suit the tyre conditions at the moment. That's what it's all about, just making sure that you are at one with the machine and anticipating how the degradation on various portions of the car are going to affect you every given lap. Because if you're just reacting to the car, well, then you're several tenths of a second too late with your inputs. This is much better though, and smoother from Zad Solda here. Just staying off those right-hand curbs, already protecting that front right, as you can imagine. Again though, that apex curb not treating the car nicely. Down we go into tight chicane, slight misjudgment, and all that progress has been lost, and it just becomes a negative spiral. The situation with that right hand side of the car and the tyre wear. Kyoto DPY's tyre wear about identical, massive slide coming out of the hairpin. I'll definitely give some Webbo style points for that one. And he held on to the lead as well, but did bring Kyoto DPY straight back. It did bring Zad Solda straight back into the hunt here, But I anticipate they'll be both pretty keen for a second pit stop pretty soon. 11 laps to go. Is that Kyoto DPY? Has he had the frighteners put on him? He has indeed. So in he comes to fit a second set of mediums, I anticipate, as Racecak is on the soft tyres, and I think he may well need to stop again as well. Likewise, Zad Soldat's mediums looking pretty old and ruined on the right side. The differential between the wear rates left and right on the car is staggering around this Kyoto driving park. It's lap 21. Zad Soldat currently has the lead on having stopped once. Racecak, having stopped once, is 4.8 seconds away, but he did put a big slowdown to allow for a sporting re-overtake. Big differential in times. 3 laps of the last 4 in the 1 minute 11s, and 1 lap and a 1:17. Huge differential there for him. So Kyoto DPY in P3 now, 12.1 seconds away, will receive the catch-up boost on the car, which is going to help him to bring himself towards the action part of the podium battle at the end of this race. So 10 laps to go, or at least to finish the one that after they've finished the one that they're on, and he now has those medium tyres till the end of the race, and he can afford to start really pushing now, as we've got some action on circuit as Racecak has caught Zad Soldat, and Zad should be able to see that turquoise front wing very bright and clear in his mirrors. This is the 135R, and he's going for the out and back in again move through the corner. Racecak, that was lovely from him. Late apex, late turn in, and managed to end up doing a bit of a switch back on a very fast corner. Beautifully through from Racecak, but with a stop to make as we anticipate. So does Zad Soldat, and a big slowdown at the corner. That looked like some pretty over the top deceleration from Racecak, but he made it work. Maybe it was Zad Soldat super late on the brakes as well that drew that comparison. Kyoto DPY is catching incredibly quickly on this lap. Oh, big slide from Zad Soldat. Is this an indicator that it's pit stop time? Yes, indeed. So he will go for his second and final stop now. Kyoto DPY, there is a 10.9 thanks to that catch-up boost, and his gap now down to 3 seconds. Remember though, the leader still has to make a second stop unless he's going to produce miracles here in the last portion of this race. I don't anticipate he's going to be able to hold on though, as things stand. Kyoto DPY in second, then 1.3 from the lead of the race. Remember, he got the pole position, and he has led the most laps in the first 2/3 of the race. Whoa, Racecak, big problem for him. Made the job incredibly easy for Kyoto DPY, and it's downhill, heavy braking into the chicane, and that is what has caused a problem for Kyoto DPY. Now, what is going on here? Is he releasing Racecak back through, or is he just hesitating on the throttle for another reason? Are they just trying to bring everybody back for a show-stopping finish? Looked like Kyoto DPY was trying to just allow Racecak back through. Very strange. Kyoto DPY doesn't have any issue on the car as far as I can see, but has relinquished the lead once again. Maybe he just had so much fun overtaking Racecak that he decided to do it again. We shall see. Could have been an instruction from race control that we are not privy to from Kyoto DPY, but he's got to build that process once again. And here he is using the overtake button now for the first portion of the race that we've seen. I'm going to try and enjoy that overtake button at the end of this race as well. There's Racecak, typically all over the road when it comes to defence. You've got to be super careful with Racecak. Could be a little bit of lag that's affecting the car as well, sort of teleporting left and right across the circuit as the sun glints off these beautiful Super Formula cars. Kyoto DPY a little bit shy now of trying to make the overtake as Racecak is closing the door. And coming through the apexes then of the second chicane. Got to assume that Racecak is heading into the pits pretty soon, as those tyres are not going to be comfortable for the end of the race. There he goes into the pits, and then it's Kyoto DPY back in the lead once again with just 6 to go. Racecak, sorry, Zad's 0.7 seconds behind. He's on a second set of softs here to finish the race. Soft, medium, soft, his strategy. Medium, soft, medium, it looks like, or at least medium, soft, soft possibly for Racecak. 3 different strategies at play. Absolutely it is. So 3 different strategies at play for the drivers. Will it be Kyoto DPY, Zad Soda or Racecak who takes all of the victory points here at the end? He's already banked some points with the pole position, has Kyoto. So lots of hard work going in here to produce the result here, but he's also looking a little bit slower than Zad Soldat at this stage, and that is the difference between the tyres, I feel. Zad Soldat softs have picked up much quicker, but come the end of the race it's going to be problematic. And once again through the chicane, it's the final part of either of those 2 chicanes that has been really difficult for both Zad Soda and Racecak. We haven't seen Kyoto DPY off circuit as often. What is going on with Kyoto DPY? He's not happy on those tyres. That is a huge change for me from the plan. So he's going for a 3-stop race right now. Back onto soft tyres to finish off this race, and that's there's no points for fastest lap anymore. So Racecak takes second place. Zad Soldat into the lead on a 1:10.3, his fastest lap so far. Soft tyres, I feel, for everybody, but that means Kyoto DPY has given himself a big challenge to try and catch the group and feed back into what is, he will possibly feel, is rightfully his win for the taking here today. But this final third of the race has been serving up all kinds of drama when it comes to the strategy. He clearly isn't enjoying those soft tyres at this stage. So very unusual to see a pit stop happen that way. Kyoto DPY has put the soft tyres on. 11.2 seconds his task here to resume the lead of the race, and I think he just really fancied another challenge. Let's join him on board. And he does look a lot more controlled through these chicanes. Soft tyres heating up nicely. Slight hesitation on throttle out of the final corner, as you can understand. Heading now down with just 4 laps to go. Big challenge on his hands. Not only has he got 2 cars to overtake, he's got to navigate Racecak, who is going to be excited about a potential second place here today, and certainly doesn't want to give up that second place easily. But once he's finished making that overtake, he then has to run further forward and overtake Zad Soldat for the win. Massive challenge for him at this stage. And there we go, already fastest sector as we go through the Piff Paff chicane on the south of the circuit. 2 hairpins and a chicane to go on this lap, and you can see it's ticking by very quickly here for Kyoto DPY. 4 seconds his deficit to the lead now. Going to be using the overtake button as much as possible, try and set that fast lap once again, but he's actually saving the overtake button. Let's have a quick comparison, shall we? Once he gets a 108.9, we'll have a quick comparison of fuel usage. Zad Soldat is, Racecak is less than a quarter of the fuel remaining. Most of his overtake. Zad Soldat is now using his overtake as in defence of his lead. And here is Kyoto DPY for a show-stopping final 3 laps with the race. And if you've just joined us, you've joined us at a great time here. Zad Soldat P1, Racecak P2, but maybe not for long, as Kyoto DPY is looking for a way through. Racecak, though, with his slightly jerkier steering inputs, and he's janking left and right across the screen. Oh, a nice late dive down into the hairpin from Kyoto Batuni. Sold the dummy, but there's contact. There's contact, and that's the last thing Kyoto Batuni needed as he spins round 180. Ruins the tyres slightly, struggles to get the car back under control. Short shift to second to straighten up the car, and that is the big challenge I was talking about earlier. He's got a lot to do now to navigate his way past Racecak, who I think just made a misjudgment on the corner and is still keen to try and take the win, or at least second place, out of the race today. 8.4 seconds with 2 complete laps to run for the drivers. Lots of work to do. Racecak is slowing. He's not feeling that he put in a fair overtake, a fair defence perhaps, and for the second time of asking today, Racecak is giving up the place that he held on to or gained thanks to slightly questionable defensive work, but again, very sporting from Racecak, and now he wants to make sure that he does this with no questions asked of the stewards. Oh dear me. Oh dear me, pushing back to catch back past. Not only has he suffered a massive deficit now, that's almost impossible to regain, and he resets, as you can imagine, as you can understand at least, with a 3-second off throttle penalty. So there's plenty to play for still in this race. Kyoto Batuni is closing in on Zad Soldat. Zad Soldat with slightly more boost. Has Racecak still got all of his boost he has to use? His overtake button, push to pass, call it what you will. Kyoto Batuni 4.1 seconds then behind Zad Soldat. He won't get the benefit of the rubber banding boost right now as strongly because he's in second position of 3. Running to the outside of the corners, Kyoto Batuni back in control. The only time that he has looked anything other than silky smooth today has been trying to make his way past Racecak, who has not made it easy at all. Here we go, on board then with Kyoto Batuni and catching very quickly. They're looking for a boost-filled last couple of laps here are our championship contenders. Down the outside goes Kyoto Batuni for a switchback if he can. He'll be mashing that accelerator as early as possible, but there's no way through at this stage. Gonna have to try and find a similar angle through the final corner, I fancy. But just offline, he's slowed his progress slightly to Zad Soldat. So here we go then for the last racing lap to start. Right now, this is it. I don't think Racecak can make it onto the back of these two. It's a two-way battle for the lead on the final lap of our race around Kyoto Driving Park. Round 6 this is of the F1 Brontest 24. We'll be back, of course, next week as usual, but here for the final lap, Kyoto Batuni all over the road, trying to find his way through. Looked fairly smooth from Zad Soldat. I'm not going to label any defence being problematic from Zad Soldat, but Kyoto Batuni looking for the outside line, runs around the outside. He's going to be slowed through these next couple of corners. There is only just over 1 sector to run in the race, and Kyoto Batuni taking the lead once again. Can he hold on to the very end? He is abusing those tyres. He's used so much of his boost, so Zad Soldat will have something left to fight with on the final couple of straightaways to finish this race. He's just got to maximise. Oh, that's it, ruined. Zad Soldat pushing hard, and every time he tries to push hard out of these chicanes, he is giving up a huge differential. Kyoto Batuni then with pole position with the fastest lap, of course, but takes the win in round 6 and takes the checker flag first. Great performance from Kyoto Batuni. The rightful winner, I would say probably so, as Zad Soldat crawls to a finish. Not happy about that, but he will take home second place on the road, and Racecak will have another penalty, decides to go into the pits and forget the penalty. But he's going to cross the line in 3rd position. Well, more drama from the F1 Brontest than they have any right to produce, thanks to these tremendous 3 or 4 car races that we have each week. But it is the fleet branding teams Cutie Patootie with the pole position points and the win in the end. He made a 3-stop strategy work come the very finish, going medium soft to a finish, and made that one look very easy indeed, with the exception perhaps of passing Racecag. Let's check out the result then. As a 39-minute 54 time. Those laps went by incredibly quickly. Zad Solda in second place, and Racecag in third position with a penalty, post-race penalty for not having actually paid for the penalty on the previous round. And that is then the end of our coverage today for the F1 Brontest. Stay tuned to this channel later on today, though, for 8 p.m. UK for the next round of the International Racing League Championship. But from the Kyoto Driving Park F1 Brontest 24, and from me, Webbo, we will catch you on the next race day.